Today's Thursday, January the 7th, 2021. I'm in a little town called Speldhurst, close to Tunbridge Wells, which is about an hour south out of Heathrow, London area in England. Been here in England with Becky, my girlfriend, for the last month. The last 4 weeks, visiting her father and her sister. Getting to see some of the English countryside for the first time. Got to see an area called the Cotswolds. Got to visit Stonehenge, Avebury Stones, Uffington Horse, the Tor, the Glastonbury Tor, and the Chalice Well. See a bunch of beautiful old churches and downtown architecture of places that have been there the last 300 years. Some as old as maybe 800 years. And yeah, get a feel for the English countryside. The sun's just going down. It's just above freezing. I'm in a little local park with lots of little kids running around and people walking their dogs. Becky and I were supposed to get on our flight today to go to Mexico. And we got stopped in the airport and told that we couldn't board our flight because our route went through the U.S. on its way to Mexico, and because of Becky's UK passport, she wasn't allowed to pass through the United States right now. And yesterday we went to the airport to get COVID test that became mandatory a couple days after we bought our tickets. And yeah, it's jumping through all the hoops that it takes to travel now. And to hold the vision for what we were hoping to do this year and what we're wanting to do and how to walk that balance of working with life and still holding our dreams and still praying, walking, living the highest vision that I can for myself, that Becky and I can, as we dream our new year, our 2021 in. You know, I've just been reflecting on what England has been for me. I found out just a couple months ago, kind of some more details of my own family, how both of my father's parents, my father's father, my father's mother, were both born right here in London. And that puts both of their parents, 2 of my great-grandparents, 4 of my great-grandparents living right here in London. And feeling into what that means for my own ancestry and my own roots and connection to this land. Got to sit with the Avebury stones and right at the winter solstice this year, and to do my best to open my heart and feel the land and that space, and let myself dream and imagine what the what and the why those stones were placed there, and maybe couldn't help but to imagine all the beautiful ceremonies that have gone down inside of those stone circles. Placed there with such effort and intention, and the land itself is shaped all around it with like mounds and deep moats and a big circular space, and this land formation is repeated in multiple places around here in England, just to add to the curiosity of what was going on there. You can't help but feel the ceremony, the prayer of some sort happening there, and it felt good to, touch in with the place of that I may have a bloodline that goes back into a place, a stone circle, an altar on the earth that's been holy to our ancestors on some level. Some of my ancestors or some of our ancestors at some point were there working with those stone circles, working with ceremonies, keeping their own spirits alive, keeping their own connection with the earth alive, and the cycles and the seasons, the solstices and the equinoxes, the full moons and the new moons, where we are in relation to the other stars in our night sky. But I feel like this time has been had its own challenges here in England. England's been sweet and really good to Becky and I, and her family has been so welcoming and hospitable, and enjoying all the good Christmas traditions together. And that I don't have that history in my own life, but it's been fun to enjoy it with Becky and her family. And man, as I get challenged, like in the airport and with the forced mask wearing inside of stores and in the streets and in the airports, it really challenges me to connect in with what I need to take care of myself. Like when my stress levels get high, when I feel challenged, pushed out of my center, or when I feel abused, when I feel like I'm being forced to do things against my will, against my consent, being told to do things or forced to do things that I don't feel good, or I don't believe in, or I don't agree with, and that's bypassed and forced upon me. And then when that happens, how do I show up and take care of myself? And what do I need to do to take care of myself? What connection back with the land, with the space? Do I need to go take a walk by myself? I'm learning all the time what I need to take care of myself and how to show up for myself in those moments. Whether I need to just sit down and breathe, or be present with my own emotion that's coming up in those moments, and what challenges are coming up. And often I feel when I get really traumatized, it connects me with my older traumas in this life that are not done being healed. And then it doubles up. Then even more than just what's happening in the moment surfaces, I'm forced to work with old traumas in the middle of present traumas, and feel that move through my body, and see if I can't, at this point in my life, be a little bit more mature of an adult and learn how to show up for myself in those moments, maybe in ways that I haven't been showing up in my younger years, when I'm just overwhelmed with the emotion and don't know what to do for myself. Trying to learn how to show up for that now, and be present with my emotions and my feelings, be responsible for how I hold my energy body out in public, so that my anger and intensity doesn't get taken out too aggressively on others. And I feel that's been a big theme for me these last few weeks while I've been here in England, and right around the solstice even. There's a new moon just before, it's a full moon just after it, and I feel the new moon I was having a really, really tough time a few days before the winter solstice, and just a lot of days on the road, a lot of days of travel and changes and not having grounding and not knowing, what the schedule is for the day or the week, and just rolling with it for many days and weeks in a row to at some point realizing that I haven't taken my own personal space, my own personal time to take care of myself, and then feeling myself get agitated and upset and angry, and realizing that part of the reason I'm so angry is that I haven't been setting good boundaries to go be by myself and show up for what I need. And then I get into some kind of double anger of both feeling that anger or stress or unease come up in me, and then also not knowing how to show up for it, or not knowing how to ask and take the space that I need to take, because I kind of wrestle with it in the background while I keep up front going for maybe a few more hours or a few more days, and then I'm so upset and I realize that it's I have nobody to blame but myself, and then I get upset for the second time with myself that I still haven't learned at this point in my life how to, one, listen to what I need, and two, show up and provide myself with what I need. And I feel like that's been my biggest lesson these last few weeks. And that it takes me a while to figure out what I need. That I need to kind of be alone for maybe an hour or two to even start to tap into what I'm needing. And then after being alone for that long, I'm just starting to kind of get in touch with that inner part of myself and starting to hear what that part of me is needing, and I'm just still learning that and seeing how that affects my relationship, and how I'm learning how to set clear boundaries for taking that time that I need. And being on the road is that bigger challenge with a lot of change, not a regular schedule, not a regular home base, sharing a vehicle, and always having lots of plans that need to be made each day. And I'm realizing that it takes a lot of internal structure, which I don't know if I've ever been that gifted in having lots of internal structure, but it's coming up for me strong right now to learn how to show up for that, and also learn how to express my anger in ways where I'm not blaming Becky or anybody else around me, and not getting upset at other people because I haven't been taking care of myself, which is challenging at times. I get so angry and I start looking for what's making me angry, but even though I could find something out there that's making me angry, it's what hurts the worst is that I'm not sure how to show up for myself, and that I'm still learning that. And then I'm even a little disappointed in myself sometimes for being this old and still not knowing how to show up and take care of myself. And that I'm still learning how to hear what I need, and once I hear it, how to show up for it. And I'm using that phrase a lot because I don't even always know what that means. other than to take some quiet space alone. And I'm realizing that sitting on the earth helps me a lot. And walking and being alone with my thoughts and getting being somewhere where I know how to get out and connect with the raw and the wild parts of nature, to see the sky, to see the clouds moving, the storm of the day, or to hear the birds or the wild animals moving around somewhere, to be near where water's moving, or to have the luxury of being somewhere where I can build a fire and just take care of that fire for a couple hours and stare into it. Go out and stare at the night sky and just be alone with the moon and the stars for a little bit. And walk out into the darkness in an area where I don't know and feel that edge where I'm scared a little bit of not knowing what's out there, and feel my own, where my safety line is. How far into the dark, or how far can I go into the dark before I freeze up? Oh man. But yeah, that's maybe the big lessons coming through, the big challenges, and especially in the moments in public areas where I feel like I'm being violated, where I don't feel like I'm being consulted, or I feel like I'm being forced to do things without any options or any dignity to my own sovereignty, to be able to speak for myself and think for myself and claim what I need for myself. But yeah, that's a bit of what's been coming up for me in this close of 2020 and start of 2021. I'm walking the land here in England and beginning this big chapter of being on the road with Becky and dreaming in our new projects. And making the plans for how this year could potentially unfold for us. How we could live and earn our living while we cruise and while we travel. And let's let the excitement of the dog barking go ahead and close this video out. Thank you everyone for taking the time to listen and be here. And I share honestly from my own heart to myself, and in hopes that this sharing speaks to common needs, common inner voices crying out to be heard within all of us, and common struggles that we're all going through, and give voice to those things and space to be present with them. I want to wish everyone a blessed new year as we kick off January and go through our own growth and watch the world move rapidly through change that challenges us culturally, challenges us individually, challenges our relationships, challenges our connections with our own family, ask us to grow into new territory of ourselves, challenges us to look at our belief systems and see if we can make some room to connect in new ways with people that see the world and believe the world differently than we do. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful evening. Till next time.